Hello and welcome back to the channel. So I want to talk about hard times. I want to talk about difficulty. I want to talk about dealing with stuff when they come your way. I want to talk about challenges. I want to talk about the stuff that just gets in your way when you're trying to move forward in life. It seems like something is always happening. Seems like you hear folks say, I just can't catch a break. That's what I want to talk about, the stuff that gets in your way. What do you do when stuff just gets in your way? Because the thing is, stuff is always just going to get in your way. Like things are going to happen. I mean, that's a fact, right? Things are going to happen. It will rain. That's why they say maybe you should have an umbrella, right? So things are going to happen. What happens when stuff gets in your way? And I was thinking about it and I realized I practiced it. And so I was like, well, shoot, let me talk about it, right? So the same stuff, that could be you're falling on tough times, that could be bad relationships, or just somebody cheat on you. You've been through an abusive relationship, you've been through some financial tough times, you've challenges in school, balancing work, school, whatever the case is. I mean, health wise, you just terrible friends, people you thought were your friends, only to tell a lot of lies and spread rumors about you behind your back, yet they talk to you in front of your face. Those kind of friends, all those situations. So, all that stuff that gets in our way to happiness or to the things that we want, that same stuff helps to pave the way. That same stuff makes you who you are. That same stuff could either break you, destroy you, or make you an unstoppable force. So let's talk about that. As I said, there are times in our lives where we have these challenges, the bad relationships, right? The financial challenges, the terrible friendships, the health challenges. And when it comes your way, a lot of times, especially if it's happening almost like in sequence, like as soon as you start getting out of one, oh goodness, here comes another one, right? As soon as you start getting out of one, here comes another one. And you're sort of like, man, I can't catch a break because stuff just keeps happening. But think about diamonds that we wear, right? Kind of cliche, but it's true. Think about the diamonds that we wear. Think about the gold that someone would put on. Think about something in its finest form, right? The well oiled machine in its finest form. And think about where that started. Think about where it started for a second. Think about your life right now. If you're watching this video, think about your life. Think about the tough times that you've been through. Think about the challenges that you've had, the relationships, the money, the whatever, challenges with school, whatever your situation. Think about it and think about where you are right now. And if you're watching this video, well, you're alive. And look, I'm not going to put my faith onto anyone else. So I believe in God, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Ghost. But I'm not going to put my faith or spiritual beliefs onto anyone. But you still here. Regardless of all that mess that woman put you through, you still here. Regardless of all that stuff that man put you through, you still here. Regardless of the fact that you had those eviction notices, somebody almost took your car, or they did, but you got another one back, or what? Guess what? You still here. Regardless of those trashy friends who pretended to be your friends only to malign you and talk about you behind your back, and then try to laugh at you and laugh and talk with you in your face, but you figured it out anyway. But guess what? You still here. So the thing is, all those things that you've been through are helping to shape you into hopefully a better person. The thing is, we have to learn from it. One thing I realize myself, having been through some tough, tough financial times in my life, and times to where I was just praying. I'm I was just singing Amazing Grace, wondering where this money gonna come from to pay this rent. Uh, Amazing Grace, where is this money gonna come from to pay this rent? And someone like me who grew up in the church and always grew up as a believer and all that sort of stuff, so I always had my faith, and that's the thing that gets you through those tough times too. For those of you who believe in God and all that, it's that faith. You believe, and you have to. Drop in the comments if you've been in some situation where if you didn't, you have to believe that you're going to get through that stuff. And as I'm saying, I went through some stuff to where folks tell lies on me. Folks malign, try to, mess with my name and my character. But look, God still bless me. You get through it. And what you realize is what dawns on you is, there's this old saying my grandmother used to say, the company that you keep, they know you by the company you keep. And you realize the company you have to keep after you've kept certain type of company that turned out not to be good company. And you realize who you need to be around. It helps to pave the way. The challenges, the tough times you've been through, all those financial struggles that I went through, not knowing how I was going to eat, not knowing how I was going to pay my rent when I was in university, not knowing how I'm going to do this, having to work, having to do that, having to do all this type of stuff. And not just work because I wanted extra money, but work to live and work to do this and work to do that and all that type of stuff, and make sure I still had good grades because I had to get scholarships to go to school. I had nobody write me, I got no family to write me no big check, right? So I worked hard, but being through all those tough times, it makes you tough. It makes you tough. So when situations come along after that, like I went through sometimes some things that when certain things happen after that, you like, I mean, you break down for a minute. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes you're just like, oh my God, why me? Why me? Oh my goodness. Whew, why me? But then when you look where you are, you're like, well, man, things still worked out pretty and good for me. I got through that stuff, which means that you're stronger than perhaps you thought you were. And a lot of times we just need to realize how tough we are, how strong we are, the fact that we could overcome a lot of things. And you have already overcome a lot of stuff. So when things come your way, all those challenges, those financial challenges, those difficulties with relationships, all those challenges, they just make you tough. But you got to learn. You can't be tough and stupid. You got to be tough and smart. You got to learn. You got to realize, I'm tough, but I ain't tough and stupid to be going through the same thing that I went through last time. I ain't dating you again. I don't want nobody like you again, because I know I could get through it, but that doesn't mean I have to put myself through it all over again. Because the reason why God got you through it in the first place is to help you learn a lesson. The second time, not that He gonna let you down and not get you through it, but boy, you may not like that lesson you got to learn the second time because you didn't learn it the first time. So sometimes we're so hard-headed that the reason why we're struggling The reason why we end up in bad relationships, or the reason why we're struggling financially, or the reason why we're struggling is because we didn't learn the first 10 times that we went through the situation. What you going through helps pave the way for where you're going. And depending on how you walk on that road, depending on how you're paving your path going forward, it depends on how comfortable the path is going to be as you're continuing on your life's journey. So how easy do you want to make your life's journey? How easy do you want to pursue make it easy for you to pursue the things that you're interested in? Well, that depends on the lessons that you're taking with you as life is taking you from one stage to another stage to another stage. You can't be tough and stupid. You got to be tough so that you don't do the same stuff all over again. So the challenges that get in our way paves the way, right? It paves the way. The same stuff that gets in the way, it paves the way for where you're going. And you got to take that lesson. You got to run with that lesson, right? You got to learn from that and become and use those challenges to become a better person. Because adversity, it makes us tough. I believe it makes us tough. It made me tough, right? So that when you're faced with other challenges and folks looking at you, wondering, oh Lord, oh yeah, they're gonna fail now. They're not gonna be able to get through that. They're gonna fail now. You just fly through, flying colors, because you got faith and you work. And when you put faith and works and faith together, we say that's a miracle. That's what we call a miracle. So remember, a lot of times stuff is just going to come your way. You just got to decide how you're going to deal with it, how you're going to approach it, and you got to learn from it so that you don't go through it again. Because God got you through it the first time, maybe the second time, the third time. And a lot of times it's always a little bit different because it's a different person. It's a different situation. It's always a little twist to it, but it's a lesson, right? And know as you're going through and you're shaping that path, you're using what you're learning. And as you're using what you're learning, you're shaping your path going forward, you're making life easier for you. And that's something that you got to decide. How much do you want to make life easier for yourself? Because a lot of times you can't get around some stuff. You just got to go through it. But when you go through it, you got to learn from it. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to leave your comments. Let me know some of the stuff that you've been through, how you dealt with it. Did you learn from it? Just don't forget, what you're going through, it paves the way. So make sure you're using that knowledge to create the path forward that you would like to walk. Be good. Till next time.